Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Asagao Academy, where there has been no horror outside of potentially
Sparkly vampires.
Sparkly vampires. Might be as good as horrific as it gets.
Right.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. We have to go to... the other horror. We don't have a history book.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now we're going to fail. We'll never get into the normal Boots Club.
Dun, dun,
and
dun.
we'll never be able to make it with Pro Jared. Game
Dun, dun,
over,
dun.
man.
I'm done.
All right. We're out. All right. We did this line already. Okay. It took me at least 20 minutes to find the library. By the time I realized I was holding the map upside down, the sun was setting. Oop.
Oh, what
Yeah, why not save? That was convenient. It's like the game wanted me to save. Oh no, it's moving my mouse on its own.
Oh my god, that was... that game's gonna stick with me for a very long time.
All right. The library was much larger than I expected. The walls lined from floor to ceiling with books of all sizes on rough wooden shelves. Intimidated, I headed for the front desk. A recognizably green and gray jacket was bent behind the counter. Normal boots. I briefly considered running away.
Hey.
Can I help you? It's too late.
Yeah, the school forgot to give me one of my textbooks. I was told I could get it here.
Which one is it?
The History 309 textbook?
He stepped from behind the counter and motioned for me to follow. We dodged between the aisles in a comfortable silence. He seemed friendly enough. I should say something. What was his name again? Shane? Gerard? John? No, not John.
Satch.
Huh?
Oh, you work here?
Of course he worked here. He chuckled, dimples appearing in his cheeks. Yeah, I'm the librarian's assistant. It's my second year and I love it. I get to help people find books that speak to them. His eyes twinkled like a kid's on Christmas. Your book's right down here. He stopped at a row of thick, dusty books. Was this all history? And pulled out the book with the powder-wigged man I saw earlier.
Thanks.
He waved his hand. It was nothing. Do you need help with anything else? I wanted to make a good impression on the normal Boots Club, but I couldn't come up with anything.
No, thanks.
Copacetic.
Nice. You're welcome. As we headed back through the cavernous library, my unease melted away. We weren't talking, but just being near him felt like being wrapped in a soft blanket. I resisted the urge to snuggle up to him. Probably not a good idea. We neared the front desk, stepping around a clump of studying students. As we passed, one of them shifted.
Eh?
Something white flew past my face. A thick piece of triangular paper lay at my feet. I bent over and picked it up. It was surprisingly heavy. There was a quarter inside of it. If I was just a hair slower, it would have hit me in the face. The student snickered, and I recognized the boys that made fun of my hair this morning among them. My heart dropped. I scanned my memory for anything I might have done to offend them, but came up with nothing. My hand started to shake. I hid it behind my back, trying to think of some way to defend myself.
Why did you do that?
What do you mean? You're just messing around.
Are you suggesting we did it on purpose?
I faltered. There was nothing I could say. I was outnumbered. They would twist my words around no matter how straightforward I was.
No, sorry.
One of the boys held his hand out for the paper. I inched closer to give it to him, angry at myself for being so compliant. I wish I were... A gentle warmth closed over my hand and took the paper from me. Satch examined the paper closely. I see what the problem is. Your aim would be better if you cut the corners before you folded it. He placed the paper on the table. The boy looked at him in sheer awe. Be careful, though. You almost hit her, and that would have been awful. My My hands began to sweat as a panic shifted through me, afraid of the response, but...
Geez, we're sorry. We'll be careful next time.
Yeah, it was an accident. They apologized? Thanks, I appreciate it. He gave them a wide smile and continued off down the aisles. I followed closely behind, my legs weak. Don't tell me they stopped because of him. Simply because I was with him? I wanted to thank him, but my heart was pounding so hard I knew my voice would shake. We reached the front counter and he scanned the history book. My lips trembled as I willed myself to say something, anything, to thank him. He tilted his head to the side. What books do you like to read?
Oh, fiction?
He chuckled. I just finished a good book. I think it'd be right up your alley, if you don't mind me saying so. He reached under the counter, pulled out a thick green book, and passed it to me. A man in black stood in the front, hugging a woman in royal robes. It's long, but it's one of my favorites. The Princess Betrothed.
Nice.
I know things can be tough transferring to a new school. If you're ever worried, just read this. It'll transport you 100 miles away in a second. Tears stung my eyes, so I ducked my head.
Thank you, Satch. For more than just the books.
You're welcome. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I got your name.
My name is Hana Mizuno. I'm a transfer student.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Hana. Let me know how you like the book.
I will.
That couldn't have gone any better. Not only was Satch impossibly kind, but being around him felt easy, refreshing, like being doused in the midst of a waterfall. Oh gosh, what was I thinking? My cheeks hot, I left the library, two surprisingly heavy books under one arm. I settled into bed, eager to get started with my new reading material, but Mai was sitting at her desk, carving a pencil idly into the pages of a notebook. Every few minutes, she released a long, drawn-out sigh as the lead of her pencil whined against the paper. I lowered my head and took the bait.
Is something wrong, Mai?
She let out another dreary sigh.
I hope Jared notices me this year.
No, we already called dibs on Jared.
Does Jared know you like him?
Doesn't matter, he's ours. My whirled around in feigned shock.
What? I don't like Jared. Oh?
I closed my book and set it aside, deciding to play along.
Well, have you at least tried talking to him? No. I mean, I have before. Why don't you try again?
She bobbed her head from side to side, considering this like it never crossed her mind before.
Yeah, maybe I could do that.
Satisfied, I picked my book back up.
Have you ever had a boyfriend, Hana?
What?
Huh? Me? No, never. Oh, really? Never? Never. I bet you 10,000 yen that you'll meet a totally cute boy here and fall in love by the end of the school year.
Yeah, we already said we have dibs on Jared.
You're crazy.
I buried my face in my book, barring Mai from any further discussion. Fall in love by the end of the year? Me? If I were a betting kind of girl, I'd take that bet. I awoke the next morning with what felt like a lizard in my throat. Mai was already up, shuffling through her school bag with an enigmatic grin. The first day of school.
Hana, you're finally awake.
Her voice sliced through the air like a knife, and I winced. She was definitely a morning person.
It's time for the first day of school. Aren't you, excited? I can't wait to see what's going to happen. What do you mean? Is something special happening today? Something strange always happens on the first day of school, especially to someone like you.
She winked. What does that mean? No, we can't wake up dead in this game. I refuse.
What?
Someone like me?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean.
She smiled and started messing with a pile of papers on her desk. Shaking my head, I got out of bed and pulled my uniform out of my closet. My palms sweat as I held the gold vest and blue jacket. Is it really possible for things to be different here than they were at home? What if the problem wasn't actually the school? I shook the thoughts out of my head and changed into my uniform.
Oh! What is it? You look so cute.
Really?
Really?
Heat crept up my neck.
Yeah.
Yes, completely. Your hair matches your uniform so well. You look like a flower blooming straight out of the ground. Thank you.
Water stung the back of my eyes, and I turned to start packing my backpack. Why was I getting worked up about something as little as this? I must have gotten less sleep than I thought.
Is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong. I'm just happy.
How dumb was that? I started crying at the first sign of someone being nice to me. I took a deep breath to steady my nerves. What an oddly menacing All the air left my lungs as something like horse hooves slammed against my back.
Ark. Ugh. You'll do just fine. Don't worry. This is going to be awesome. If I don't, squeeze the life out of you.
I stiffly peered over my shoulder.
That was you?
What?
Huh?
Mai stood behind me, her hand raised. Somehow, she had the strength of a bodybuilder.
Nothing.
I was just about to zip my bag up when I spotted the book Satch gave me lying on my nightstand. The Princess Betrothed.
I love that.
He said that if I ever needed to be transported somewhere far away, I could take it with me. It was pretty good so far. Maybe it would be smart to bring it along, just in case I had no one to talk to between class periods. Would I need it for my first day of class?
Take the book.
I put it into my already overfull bag, biting my lip. It never hurt to be prepared, right?
You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Stick with me and you'll be just fine.
Oh god.
We're screwed.
This is more horrifying than the horror. Mai opened the door, and together we stepped into the hallway, merging into a steady flow of chittering girls and fruit-flavored perfume.
Oh my. I didn't know we lived on the same floor. No way, really? That's so awesome. Now we'll be able to catch up. Whatever happened between you and...
The river of girls shifted as we headed down the stairs. Suddenly I found myself surrounded by a bunch of people I didn't know.
Oh wow, what a jerk he turned out to be.
Mai's exclamations faded into the buzz of voices in the air. Oh no. What would I do if we got separated? Anxiously, I searched the crowd of girls for Mai, but I couldn't find her. Everyone was dressed in the same Asagao uniform. It was difficult to tell anyone apart, and being so short really didn't help the situation. As we turned the last corner down the stairwell, I saw a flash of red hair a little ways in front of me.
Mai?
I reached between two girls and tapped her on the shoulder.
Huh? Oh, who are you?
The girl's eyes flashed, almost like a jolt of electricity shot through them.
I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else. Bitch.
She said nothing and turned away. Before I knew it, I stood outside of Primrose House, watching the flow of girls disperse across campus. Mai was nowhere to be seen. I couldn't even hear her chirpy voice.
Oh, man.
I took a deep breath, biting my lip. This wasn't a big deal. I could go to class alone. But I didn't even know where the building was. I reached into my backpack and dragged out my class schedule. Homeroom 206, Poppy Hall? Which one was Poppy Hall again? Weren't the classrooms on the other side of campus? I picked a direction and began to walk, trying to ignore my rising panic at the thought of arriving late to the first day of class. As a third year where no one knew me, all of the people were staring.
Hey,
Hey, you okay? You look a little lost. Someone called out to me, and I turned around, almost jumping for joy. When I froze. A Normal Boots jacket. He was part of the Normal Boots Club. I could practically feel my tongue swelling in my mouth. If this was a Normal Boots Club member, I had to make a good impression. He was one of the founders, right? Then he must be John?
Yes. I'm new and I don't know where Poppy Hall is.
You a freshman? No problem. My class is in Poppy Hall. I'll walk you there.
Really?
Really? That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Was this really happening? He began walking toward a large brick building in an enthusiastic manner, pumping his arms up and down like he was in some kind of show tune. I fell into step beside him. I didn't notice it when Mai pointed him out to me yesterday, but Jontron had big brown eyes and a warm-looking face.
I have to point out that his parrot, Jacques, has a little jacket too.
Oh my god, the parrot has a jacket.
Yeah, he has a little Normal Boots jacket. It's super cute.
A bird in clothes is just adorable. We can probably stop right here. Bird and clothes, we're good.
Can we date the bird?
Ooh, I bet that's a secret ending.
I mean, he seems like a real heartwarming kind of feather guy.
Right, he seems like the kind of bird that would stick up for you in a bad situation.
Yeah. Seems like he might lend you his little jacket when you're cold.
Yeah. He was basically a human puppy. I glanced up at him out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
A bird? A bird on his shoulder? Birds always made me uncomfortable. Something about the ease with which they could poke out someone's eyes. But he's so cute looking.
I know.
Is something wrong? Why'd you stop?
No, nothing's wrong.
He followed my gaze to the bird on his shoulder.
Hey,
Oh, this is Jocks. Isn't he cute? Nice to meet you.
His eyes glowed red too. It spoke?
Yeah. He put his hand to his shoulder. Jocks jumped into his palm. Jocks is a robot bird. See?
Oh, that's why his eyes are red.
Hello. Jocks' eyes gleamed a dangerous red when he spoke, but nothing else suggested he wasn't a normal bird. In fact, if I had known better, I would have said the red in his eyes was painted on.
That's amazing.
Jocks twitched his head to the side, examining me in return. The more he looked at me, the less afraid I was. What are you looking at?
What? Nothing. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Jocks can be a little sassy. Who are you calling sassy? I'm not the sassy one. I don't forget to feed you. Jocks, that was one time. I was alone and starving in the frozen tundra of this empty world, loveless, afraid. I love this bird already.
I do too. He's so dramatic. I love it.
Ignore him. I've been bringing him with me to the drama club, and he's taken a little too well to it. I see how this is. Shut me out like I have nothing to add to the conversation. Jocks retook his place on John's shoulder, this time facing away from us as if miffed. We resumed our walk towards Poppy Hall. I'm John, by the way. Call me John.
Hannah, nice to meet you.
Hana.
Hana, that's a cute name.
What? Thank you. So, how long have you had Jocks?
Since middle school. We've been together 4 years now. Ain't that right? I'm not listening. Yeah, well, I love him to death. I don't know what I'd do without him. It seemed like life would be a lot easier without him, but who was I to say? We arrived at a brick building. A white sign surrounded by poppies declared it to be, unsurprisingly, Poppy Hall. Which room are you in?
Room 206.
Really?
Seriously?
Yes.
That's my homeroom. We're in the same class. John laughed and clapped me on the shoulder. Wonderful. I guess I'll be seeing more of you then, right?
Right.
Together, we entered Poppy Hall. Poppy Hall was lined with fluorescent lights and Asiago blue lockers. The lack of students milling around the hallway indicated we were a bit late. We ran up the stairs and made it to the classroom just as the bell rang. My heart caught in my throat. Thankfully, the teacher hadn't come yet. Instead, the students clumped into tight pods and milled around the classroom, catching up on vacation news.
Thank you so much for showing me to my class, John.
See you later.
No problem. I'll see you around. He waved and disappeared into the wiggling mass of students. I glanced around the room, looking for an empty seat.
Hannah!
Mai peeled herself out from between a cuddling couple.
Was that Jontron? Were you talking to Jontron? Yeah.
Mai's eyes widened, and I couldn't help feeling a little smug.
I realized I didn't know the way to class after you and I got separated, and he offered to walk me.
Mai emitted a highly pressurized squeal.
Jontron walked you to class? Oh my gosh, you have to tell me everything. Dish.
That's literally the entire story. Also, he has a back-talking parrot that's a robot. That is awesome. And has a little jacket. Alright, maybe there was more to tell. Mostly about the bird. She grabbed me by the wrist and pulled me to an empty desk in the back corner of the room, right next to the window.
I saved you a seat.
I slid in and took off my backpack, hooking it on the side of my desk. I was a little worried the books inside were too heavy for the bag to handle, but so far it held up well.
Sorry we got separated, by the way. It can get a little chaotic sometimes. So tell me, what happened? What did he say? What did he smell like? Does he have peach fuzz? Is it rough?
Whoa!
Wait, what? These are very important questions I'm asking. You need to answer them. Was his hair super silky, or did it have the roughness of a dog's coat?
Okay, is this a thing that people actually say?
No.
Okay, I just had
This
to
lady
make sure.
is crazy. But again, you're talking to the wrong...
I know, you're
person
a bad sample size.
Yeah.
Before I could answer, the door to the front of the room slid open, and a tall woman strolled in. The class went quiet and obediently slid into their seats. My heart beat furiously, blood rushing through my ears.
Class.
Good morning, class.
The teacher's melodious voice swam through the room, calming the buzzing high of students back from break. My shoulders relaxed, and my fears ebbed away.
I am your teacher, Shizuka Wakakisha. You may call me Miss Shizuka.
Emphasis on the miss.
Emphasis on the miss. Miss.
Is that her way? Oh, she's after our boys. That ain't gonna fly. The emphasis she placed on the word led me to believe that calling her Mrs. wasn't a mistake she would take lightly.
Some of you might have noticed that we have a new student this semester.
A hail of murmurs passed through the class. Some people glanced at me. Nope, there was the fear again.
Would you like to come up and introduce yourself?
Nope.
No.
I nodded and slowly walked to the front of the room, counting my steps to make sure I wouldn't fall. I faced the class, took a deep breath in to introduce myself, and noticed a familiar face in the crowd. There was John, sitting with two other boys wearing normal Boots Club jackets. One of the boys, the tallest one, was staring at me, the barest of frowns on his face. Something about him seemed really familiar. Wait. He was PBG, wasn't he? The other founder of the Normal Boots Club. Suddenly, all the strength left my knees. What should I do? Why was he frowning? Was it possible I already made a bad impression on him? You had to be kidding me. If he didn't like me, what did that mean about everyone else? Wouldn't they follow his lead? I swallowed. The faces of the class began to congeal, forming one giant blob.
You moved from... I cannot say this word.
Rirsu?
Right?
I nodded and swallowed again. Then, like a beacon of light, I noticed Mai smiling and giving me a thumbs up. That's right. What would Mai do in this situation?
Bad influence.
Just moved here. My name is transferred from Amiririsu Public High School.
I still think
Oh, I never would have been able to say
said.
that.
Nope. I'm a Ririsu.
You can't put that many R's and I's together. I'll never. Us slubbish Americans cannot handle it.
No.
I'm really excited to be here. I hope you'll all take good care of me from now on.
What? Good. They're gonna take good care of you from now on?
Is that a thing?
I don't understand. This sounds to me more like a dating club than school.
All right, fair enough. I don't like that you're getting out of your voice acting
I like
duty.
that I'm getting out of my voice acting duties.
I bowed my head to the class, and they clapped politely. When I looked up, PBG wasn't frowning, but he still seemed oddly confused. Maybe he always looked like that.
Thank you. You may be seated.
I returned to my seat, heaving a small sigh. The hardest part of the day was over. Shizuka began to talk about standard procedures for the semester, the rules for classes, when homework was due, and that sort of thing. It was all very similar to my old school, and I spaced out and spite myself. A brief flicker of movement caught my eye. PBG again. I glanced at him, and his head snapped back to the blackboard. What was his problem? Class continued on like that until finally the bell rang and it was time for lunch.
Ugh.
Mai stretched her arms over her head and yawned.
Man, I hate the first day of class. It's always so boring. Weren't you looking forward to it this morning? Something about exciting things happening?
She changed her mind.
Well, yeah, but I already did. You met Jontron, didn't you?
Yeah, but we haven't met Peter Gerard. A lot of people. We're still like what? Only 3 in.
Yeah.
3? Yeah, 3.
Now I got nothing to look forward to the rest of the day. Seriously.
Until we run into Gerard. She sighed.
And I was hoping to see Jared before class 2.
All right. Let's settle this right now. He's ours. Back off.
Bitch.
That did need that.
What'd you say?
I said it did need that.
It did. If you're gonna start a cat fight, you have to end it with that.
Was that how all cat fights go?
I don't know. It's how it happened in my head.
How many cat fights have you been in for reference?
In my head? Lots. In real life? -607.
I'm not even going to delve into how you get into negative cat fights, because otherwise we won't get any
It probably
further.
is the ratio of my not having many girlfriends compared to dude friends, and you can't really have a cat fight with a dude friend.
She slouched and fell across the front of my desk. It seemed like this would be happening a lot.
Is Jared really that hot?
Mai's head snapped back up, her eyes flashing. Oh god, no. We messed. Okay, Hana is in the wrong here.
What did you say? If you stare directly at him for too long, your nose will melt off. I've seen it happen.
I could see that.
What? Anyways, let's head to lunch. I'm super hungry. Oh.
I looked at my backpack. It held up well throughout class, but I worried that if I didn't take some of my stuff out now, I might do some permanent damage to it. Especially with Satch's book in there. I couldn't exactly afford a new backpack.
I need to put something in my locker first. But if we don't go now, they'll run out of sesame seed buns. Oh. That's okay. I'll just go ahead. Come find me, okay? All right.
Aha!
I'm not sure if she's lucky.
But I think by taking the book that had an influence on who we're about to meet next. Because I'm assuming when we go to put stuff away, we're gonna run into somebody.
Who do you think we're gonna run into?
I'm gonna go PBG.
Ooh, let's see if you're right. Are you right?
What's your guess?
I'm gonna go Gerard. Because I'm gonna go random. Someone we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we haven't run into... That's true. We have not run into Gerard at all yet. I was so lucky to have someone like her as my roommate. Quick as I could, I went to my locker and shoved the book inside. As good a book as it was, I was infinitely happier that I had Maya around so I didn't have to read it. Without her, who knew what I would do with myself, especially with PBG staring at me like that. Oh no, I wonder if something's gonna happen to our locker and we're gonna lose the book.
Oh no, I hope not. It's a really good
I have a feeling like taking the book with us is a huge influence thing.
I think so. I think anytime you have to make a choice, I bet you is an influence.
It was pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I could ask her what was up with him when I met her at the cafeteria. It might just be the way he was. Cheered, I headed for the cafeteria. Oh, I thought we were going to run into somebody. I carried my melon bread through the minefield of people, searching for the now familiar sight of Mai's red hair.
Where is she?
I couldn't see her anywhere, and there were almost no empty seats. All around me, students circled each other, laughing and joking, sharing bites of food, and splitting the cost of sodas. Suddenly, I felt very obvious and very alone.
Isn't there anywhere I can sit?
Just then, I spotted a table at the front of the room. A lone boy sat at it, stabbing at his spaghetti with the vigor of a Roman general. He was having a hard time with it. I moved closer to him, working up the courage to ask to sit with him. Well, no wonder. He was eating his spaghetti with a spoon. Wait a second. This guy was in my class, wasn't he? I saw him that morning at the front of the room. And he was wearing a jacket just like the Normal Boots Club, but different. A golden gray jacket with an 8-bit block on the front. Kind of 8-bit block.
Do you plumb in your spare time?
Have you ever taken up any sort of plumbing activities outside of school?
Do you ever have the urge to eat mushrooms and grow tall with food?
Or flowers? Have you tried touching stars?
Do you ever have the urge to hit your head against big blocks?
We'll find out. Was he a member of another club? Or maybe he was friends with them?
Hey, what? Hana! Oh, my. Thank God.
Mai appeared between me and the boy, who glanced up at us before returning to his spaghetti.
Thank goodness I found you. I saved a table for you in the back. Oh.
I looked at the boy, then back at Mai.
Come on.
She grabbed my shoulder rather forcefully and pushed me to the back of the room.
Hey, what's wrong? You are so lucky I got here when I did. That kid is a brutal moose. Oh my God. His real name's Ian. He's from the Hidden Block Club. Poor brutal moose. How did they get on like the crappy club? Just like two rival clubs.
That's hysterical.
The Hidden Block Club? Yeah, the rival club of Normal Boots. He's really weird. I mean...
He was trying to eat spaghetti with the spoon. Which I have done, by the way. You can do it. There are dozens of us. Literally dozens.
I think you went back.
Ow.
There you go.
She looked around her to make sure no one was listening in, but we were completely alone in our little corner of the cafeteria.
He speaks in Comic Sans. Can you keep a straight face while trying to say that?
That's awesome.
Whoa. Yeah, it'd be better to stay away from him, especially since you've already gotten to know some of the Normal Boots Club guys.
Poor Ian.
What are you talking about? I only just met John today. Haha, yeah, right. I saw the way PBG was staring at you. He totally likes you.
Wait, that's how PBG looks when he likes you?
I guess so.
All right.
Okay.
Really?
Really? Is that what you thought it was?
Either Mai was blind or she had a serious case of wishful thinking.
Oh, totally. It was so cute. Just like my favorite manga. You'll meet in high school, fall in love, and then go off and fight aliens together. Yep, that's about right. That's life in a nutshell.
Yeah, you meet in high school, you fall in love, and then you go fight aliens. That's what we do.
That's what I think adult life is like.
Yeah,
Fighting aliens.
fighting aliens. That's what we're doing. Don't tell anyone.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, we'll be fighting aliens.
Have some faith in yourself. That's totally what's happening.
Wait. No, I know what's going on here. She's trying to set us up with PBG so we won't go after Jared.
Yeah, I know. Because she wants Jared. So now that you're in good with PBG, can you induce me to Jared? What?
Wait, what just happened? What did I do?
You click the book over there.
Oh, shit.
Maybe hit back or out.
Uh,
or
escape.
There we go.
Escape is catch-all. Oh, was that what she was getting at? A hot flash of doubt seized me. Was it possible that Mai only liked me because she thought I knew the normal Boots guys? That couldn't be the case, though. She was so nice. Still, looking at her shining and eager face, I couldn't talk myself out of the idea.
I actually thought PBG didn't like me.
What?
What? Why would you totally think that?
Well,
He was glaring at me. Man, you just don't understand. It's a love triangle. A love triangle.
How is it a love triangle?
I don't know.
I mean, if you mean us, Jared and PBG, I could see that.
Wait, a triangle now? I can see it. Oh god.
Stars practically erupted from her eyes.
PBG, I can't. But Hana, I love you. But
PG.
my maidenhood. What is going on? Where are you going with this?
I slammed my fork onto the table. Mai looked pleased with herself.
Okay, alright, I'm just totally kidding. You're really cute when you blush. You almost match your hair. I'm gonna smack this lady.
Bye.
That's not fair at all. I beg to differ. Still,
I searched my mind, eager to change the subject.
that was an impressive scenario.
What?
What? No, it wasn't. I just made it up on the spot.
Mai laughed nervously.
Oh, so that girl who was totally talking to me when we got separated?
Mai told me a story of her past friendship with this girl like they were eternal arch nemesis. Apparently, they had some bad blood. I nodded, choosing to take the time to relax. Before I knew it, we were finished eating. We got up and tossed our trays together. As I headed towards the door, though, Mai hesitated. We're going to have to find out why she hesitated next time.
Is it because of Jared?
Probably.
That was fun.
If so, we're going to have a fist fight.
I don't know.
Fist fight in episode 3. I'm calling it. Fist fight between us and Mai.
Are you going to be upset if we don't end up with Jared?
I mean, if we don't end up with Jared, we've done something wrong.
I'd be okay with 2 other ones.
I mean, I'm all for just seeing whatever happens.
I am too,
yeah.
but 3 that I would like to see is Jared, PBG, and Gerard.
All right.
Those are my 3.
We can make this happen.
We're gonna end up with the parrot.
Yeah.
I would actually be okay with that. Actually, can we just end up with Jacques?
Yeah.
I like him. He's like a smart ass talking parrot.
I would take that.
He's got a little jacket.
He's got a little jacket. I want his little jacket. I want a bird with a little jacket like that. All right. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.